What is up, you guys? Just hopped off of an amazing Instagram live stream with Mike Dolce. For those of you who do not know who he is 4-time trainer of the year, head nutritionist for the famous Ronda Rousey, an MMA legend and mentor for thousands of people all over the world. We talked about finances, we talked about fitness, we talked about discipline, we talked about a lot of things in a short amount of time. And I wanted to share this with you guys because, as you know, there's more to making money than just investing. It's more about discipline, it's more about strategy, it's about just being the best person that you can be. And this talk with Mike was very important to me because you guys know that my life was in the gutter just 6 years ago, and when I was turning my life around, there were guys like Mike Dolce, Joe Rogan, Jocko Willink, Aubrey Marcus that really turned me into the man that I am today, and it was just really cool to sit down and talk with him. I've been following the Dolce diet principles for almost 6 years now, and it has changed me. Not only physically have I put on a ton of more muscle and lost more fat, but mentally I've never been firing at all cylinders and to the highest level that I have been. And it's all because of the Dolce diet and his principles. So I'm going to put his link down below. Make sure to check them out. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the content. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I know you're in the car. I know you're busy. So, quick conversation with you. I saw you just posted. Now, for those that don't know, my man right there, Peter DiCarlo, is an entrepreneur. He's a real estate investor. He is a financial wizard, if you will. He's got a great channel, a great page. Definitely follow it. But he just announced today that Robinhood is now allowing a drip program. So, Peter, this was news to me. You broke the news to me, and I'm stoked because I am also a drip investor. I'm also a Robinhood platform user. Fill us in, and everybody who doesn't know, what is drip investing first before we get into Robinhood? Let us know, brother.
Yeah, so drip investing just means dividend reinvestment plan. So essentially what would happen is, say you own Boeing, right? For instance, I think they did just cut the dividend, but let's just say you were to own Boeing and you were to get a dividend every single quarter, which is 3 months. What normally would happen if you were in Robinhood or not a part of a drip, you would get the dividend cashed out. So it would just be deposited to your account. Of course, you would have to pay the taxes on it, take that money out, and then reinvest the money. So what a dividend reinvestment plan does is just reinvest that back into the company that you own. And the good thing is usually it's fractional shares. So you can buy a piece of a company, which is great. It's not as crazy now, because commissions are free for mostly all over the board. But back in the day, it was really, really important because you would have to pay a commission on top of, reinvesting that money. So say you had a small portfolio, and this is why I do love Robinhood. Say $1,000, you were getting 4% returns a year in dividends, and you wanted to reinvest that quarterly. Well, that's, 10% every quarter, or $10 every quarter, or $40 a year. If your broker commission was $10 just to buy, you're breaking even. And it's sometimes actually you're losing money because you have to save the tax money on top of that. So it's really a big game changer. I have a love-hate relationship with Robinhood. I keep it now because I use it to educate others because it's one of the easiest ways to start investing. They really did change the game. But they have some bugs going on recently, and but it's great. It really is good.
Yeah, so I use Robinhood, and I've talked about Robinhood. I use Robinhood. I also use Fidelity, just as I call this is my fun money in a way, right? I got my 401ks set up. We got our IRAs, our backdoor rollovers. We got the 529s for the kids. We even have Roth IRAs set up for our kids because they have earned income credits working for our business. We use their name. We use their likeness for some of the products that we have for sale, just like a childhood actor would be. You can imagine, putting $5,500 in when they're 1 year old, what that's going to be when they're 62 years old, right? So do the math. But with this, especially right now, because the market's down right now, people are freaking out right now. I'm not freaking out right now because I bet, man, you're a younger guy than I am. You got another 10, 15 or more years to keep investing. I'm stoked because I am picking everything. It's Black Friday right now in a good way. Everything's on sale. And you and I, we had a recent chat about my love, and I think yours also, for the Vanguard family. I'm a huge Vanguard fan. I love the Vanguard funds, the ETFs, VOO, VTI. Those are two of my favorites. And systematically, I also drip invest into those. You know, I'm a member of the Vanguard platform, so I invest in there. I have the drip platform set up there, reinvesting those dividends right back to buy more, while also pulling monthly draws from my personal paycheck, my personal bank account. The 1st and the 15th of every month, I'm picking up shares. High markets, low markets, doesn't matter. But right now, any discretionary income I have, I've been scooping up Vanguard down at like whatever it was, 208, 222.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
scooping
really.
buckets of it up, right?
Yeah, it's that's kind of my plan. I do a little more active long term, I guess, because I'm younger.
Yeah.
I really, really love, deep diving companies and finding companies. Like, one of my bigger investments right now that's more speculative is Carnival Cruise Line. I do not recommend anybody if they're not okay with losing that amount of money, because it's really in the spearhead of, travel and what's going on with COVID-19.
Yep.
But a company like that's PE ratio is like 4 before earnings, obviously, because they're all going to change now, but it's 4. The dividend, which I expect to cut, was 20%.
Yep.
But most of my net worth is in stuff like SPY, VTI, VOO, because it's like, I try to explain to a lot of people, like, it's pretty easy to become a millionaire if you have time, if you put the money away, if you start young.
Yep.
Compounding interest is crazy. I mean, $300 a month for 45 years at an average return of 7% is $1 million. Now, 45 years is a long time, but if you could put $600 a month, $700 a month, $800 a month, that's how I got started. I bought a duplex. Me, my girlfriend, and my brother lived in the bottom. We rented out the top. I lived for free. Cars paid off. And I was like, yeah, like, let's start investing. So now I can put all of my income, as long as I don't, raise my cost of living, which I'm going to have to at some point, obviously, into the market. And at a time like this, it's the best time to get started.
And so down market right now, everything's on sale, if you will. You picked up Carnival. I picked up Carnival. I picked up Norwegian. I picked up a bunch of, so, as soon as you said Carnival, I got a big smile, because and I look at these as minimum 5-year holds. Like, we'll see what happens, but any money I put in the market right now, I don't want to touch it. I don't need it. And here's the thing. I don't need it for a minimum of 5 years. So this is discretionary income, if you will. I have my retirement accounts set up. That I don't play with that money. That's, very, very well established, structured. This is more fun money that I may keep, or I might cash out when I make some money plus interest, and I might put that into the dirt. I say turn digits into dirt, where I'll take that money, I'll put it into real estate, because I love real estate. I love real estate investing, just like you two. We're very much aligned, which is why I wanted to get you on here. But now, something I'm looking at the travel and tourism. I'm looking at the airlines. I'm looking at the cruise ships, right? Because they're getting crushed right now. I'm also looking at oil, which is very, I don't know if I should say, but some of these I'll share offline with you, because very risky. But at the same time, I'm picking things up for, 15 cents, 30 cents, where it was trading within the last 12 months, averaging between $18 and $26 per share. Within 2 years ago, it was up at $45 when oil was super high. That right there, for me to spend a couple $100 to speculate, which could turn into tens of thousands, 5-figure, 6-figure turnaround, and also a bunch of these real estate investment trusts, where I've been probably like you, scooping up quite a few of those right now also. But this, in a way, I talked to my buddy earlier, I see this in a way as it's kind of gambling money. If I lose it, my wife isn't going to throw me out, right? Mm-hmm. It's that money.
It's educated gambling.
It is. Educated gambling, but I don't need it today. I'm not going to cash my chips out, walk away from the table, and which a lot of people need to understand. This is like 5 years away minimum, this type of investment. And these are only in companies that have long track records. Carnival, Norwegian, some of these trusts that I'm into, some of these oil companies that I'm into right now. Same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the hard part for a lot of people. They want to start. That's why I love Robinhood, but it's also given the power to invest in people's hands. And then they start to invest with money they're going to need soon. And what ends up happening, and that's why I like that you're more of a Warren Buffett, Dave Ramsey type of person, where it's like, this money I'm not going to need. Yep. If you're buying something like oil, if you're buying something, which I just bought oil, made 35% in 3 days on USO. I sold out. I didn't want to because the capital gains, but I was like, whatever, I'll take it out.
Smart.
The thing is, if you're, I try to tell people this example, right, with Carnival. I started buying at 30. right, which was not a good price. Then I bought more at 15. I bought more at 8 last time, and now my average is like $13.11.
Yep.
But I'm not worried. You know, I ask people, like, if every single time you walked out of your house, someone was screaming like, "Hey, your house is worth $240,000. Today it's worth $239,000." Like, would you sell it? I'd be like,
Yeah.
no. Like, I bought a house. I bought an asset. I bought, you know, a piece of this community. And that's the same thing with buying a stock. Like, you're buying that company, right? Like, you can't get scared out. And when you're using money, which you should never do, like you said, when you're using money that you need, that's when you're going to get scared, because you need that money, and you can't live that way. But yeah, I love it. I'm in Delta Airlines. I was looking at Spirit, CCL. I have some Norwegian. But the thing is, you know, people aren't going to stop flying. People aren't going to stop going on cruises.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to be what you're willing to lose entirely. That's what I always tell people.
And great points. And 3 years from now, because everybody's freaked out right now. Nobody's traveling right now. The airplanes aren't flying. The cruise ships aren't cruising. We're not getting in our cars and driving right now. Gas and oil is crashing, right? There's massive supply. There's no demand. They have to drop prices right now in order to try and meet that lack of demand, right? Just liquidate this supply, which means all the company, you know, their value is plummeting, but it's a false plummet when we look at a 3-year, a 5-year, a 10-year term. And that's really the way that I try and look at it. Now, I don't like to jump in and jump out like some other individuals do. I got some buddies, you probably do, that they like to short, you know, the market.
I've done it. I've lost a lot of money. So.
Given enough time, you will, right? Otherwise, that's what everyone would be doing. And that's super risky. Those are kind of for the adrenaline junkies, right? Yeah. You know, they blow a line of coke, they jump out of an airplane, and they do their Robin Hood stock trading on the way down. It's kind of, you know, an analogy. But these are more, and I'm very conservative. Like you said, Warren Buffett. When I buy something, I'm not buying a stock, I'm buying a company. And that came from Buffett. I buy a company. What company do I have in my house right now? When I open up the cabinets, when I get into my car, like when I look in my closet, like all the little widgets and gadgets that I use, I buy consistently. I want to buy those companies. If I see these gadgets, let's say, if these consumables, these materials, when I do get on an airplane, what plane do I choose? That's the way I look at it, which is why in many ways I love VOO, which is an S&P 500 index fund. For those who don't know, mimics the 500 most successful companies here in the United States. And it buys a little piece of all of them. That's probably my biggest holding is in the S&P, maybe, you know, VOO, but also, you know, through my other, you know, mutual funds and 401ks and stuff, very high, more towards that type of market. Kind of this more fun money, but this fun money, I got to tell you, man, this has turned into a pretty successful endeavor where, you know, we're even now in a down market, I'm still up this year, which is pretty fucking phenomenal, pardon my language, considering how bad the market's been, because I've been very... What's that?
No.
Oh, froze there for a second. But
sorry, somebody called me. I should have said I'm good.
I know. I always get that too. But it's just strategically buying. So I only buy these companies in, you know, when there's that room, when there's that cushion, when they're you know, irregularly low, when they're on sale. And that's something that a lot of people got to pay attention to. They got money in their pocket. They just want to blow the money. They got to be more strategic. So you talk about how you got into it. Now, what is your philosophy right now? I know we're starting to wind down on time. I don't want to get you too long. Thank you for taking the time. So for everybody listening, they might not want to be in the market just yet. What are some good pieces of advice that they can understand to educate themselves before they decide to step in?
As far as education, read The Intelligent Investor. It's the most important book that you will ever read. You don't have to understand every aspect of every company. For me, I have some major guidelines. I want to see revenue growing year over year. I want to see net revenue growing year over year, because, you know, as a businessman, it doesn't matter if I'm making more money if I'm not keeping the money at the end. And I also want to see a good debt to income ratio. So for instance, with CCL, Carnival, the reason I like them is they have a 2-to-1 debt to income ratio. So they have $20 billion in debt, which is a lot of debt. But these travel companies usually have more. But their ratio to debt, they have, I think it's almost $60 billion or $55 billion in assets. But as far as, you know, if you want to start and you want to put everything on autopilot, which everybody should, in my opinion, today, even if it's $5, Because once you start, once you start flexing the muscle of, I take even $5 a week, I take a piece of that for myself and I put that towards my future. And you start to see it grow, and you start to see it grow. And even if you put in something like, you don't have to pick your own stocks, VTI, VOO, SPY, you'll get a nice dividend from that. You will make a ton of money over time. If you guys don't know about compounding interest, I know Mike, you talk about it a lot. Go to moneychimp.com and just play around with it. Like it is crazy when you start putting in the numbers with like an average return of 6-7% a year. It really motivates you because you're like, holy crap, like $300 a month for 45. Like by the time I retire, if I'm 20, I'll have over $1 million, and that's just $300 a month. So
yep.
Yeah, compounding interest, definitely index funds and ETFs. Like we're so lucky with ETFs right now. Companies like Vanguard, VTI, VOO, you can get great returns on the market, especially if you're buying now when it's, extremely undervalued. The PE ratio on the overall market is so low, but also it's like, you're not going to be overexposed because you have nice diversity, and the fees are so low right now. Like if you were to have gotten, I don't know how long you've been investing, Mike, I'm only 30, but if you would have bought a mutual fund or had a mutual fund, somebody run your money for you, 1-2%, a year fees turn into a ton. That fee compounds over that amount of time that you're investing as well. So we're very, very lucky and fortunate that companies like, I think Vanguard is like 0.25% fee a year. It's really,
I think it's 0.03.
Yeah.
Is last time I looked at it, which is not like 0.3 is awesome.
Yeah.
Like if it's like 0.7 to 0.9, that's better than industry standard. 0.03 is just ridiculous. And if you invest enough money over enough period of time, that turns into 6- and 7-figure returns for you to keep instead of for you to pay off. And people don't get that because they think, oh, it's only 1%. No, it's 1% compounded. And that's where the money gets fucking huge. And just a little bit of, like you said, go to MoneyChimp. I use Dave Ramsey's website. He has on his tool site, and under the tools, he's got a tool there, which is a great calculator. I play around all the time. I'm like, like, should I go out and have a cup of coffee? Like, well, that coffee is going to cost me $5. If I do that $5 a day times 7 days a week, it's 35. And I'll put that in the calculator. I'll be like, that cup of coffee just cost me $600,000. Like, So that's little tricks that I use to like not overspend and just to be more, calculated in the things I actually do purchase. Because I understand, I say, young me versus old me. I'm literally stealing that money from old me because young me wants a cup of coffee where I got coffee in my house. Why am I going to go spend $5 on a stupid cup? I could invest that at, 9, 10, 11, 12% interest, let's say, depending on how well we're doing. Hopefully we're getting towards that 10, 11% return. Times 30 years, 40 years, real money, right?
Yeah. And especially like I said, I play a little more aggressive with about 20% of my net worth in my portfolio because I'm young, because I enjoy it. It's something I have a passion for. But it's like, even if you were to start buying up now, like even SPY is at a 30% discount, was almost at or maybe like a 26% discount now. Yeah. But that's insane. Like to start even buying that right now, if you want to play the safe side, I'm telling you, like coronavirus is very unfortunate. There are a lot of people getting sick. There are people dying. Economically, we're in an issue right now. Like unemployment numbers came out today from the labor market, and yesterday was 6.6 million people unemployed. Yep. And the thing is with the market, it prices things in the future, right? Like right now, I feel like we've hit the max craziness. We are about to test these lows, but in 5 years, this isn't going to matter. Yep. It's unfortunate, but if you look at, 9/11, the airliners came back. The stock market came back. It always comes back. But if you're expecting this money in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, don't even mess around with it.
Yep, agreed. And even as recent as 2008, right? 2008 is not that long ago. Nope. And look at how crazy people have gone with mortgages, with over leveraging their own debt ratios, with just this constant consumer spending, with over purchasing, everything, right? We look at that, it's like, well, shit, that was only 10 years ago. You guys are, again, you're over leveraged on all your debt. I talk about all the time to everybody about getting out of debt, paying cash for everything, the whole thing. But we just look at it. So I know what the market is going to do simply because it's human nature. right?
Yep.
Airlines are down right now. Cruise ships down right now. Oil's down right now. You know, mortgages, loans, financing down right now. Guess what? 3 years from now, it won't be. 5 years from now, it won't be. And however long that bounce is going to be, who knows? But again, kind of dripping in, I'm going to be purchasing all the way down, and I'm going to be purchasing all the way up. And that is one of the most economical ways to make money, most conservative ways to make money, is just simple, conservative, small investments that you can understand, that you can handle. Like, you know, we talk about having an emergency fund, having, you know, emergency fund, very Dave Ramsey-esque, your $1,000, you want to build it up to 3 months, then 6 months, then 12 months of living expenses. Could you imagine right now if everybody on unemployment had 6 months of living expenses sitting in their bank for a black swan event exactly like this? This is why we talk about it, which is true. You can breathe. You're going to be okay. Like, if you have that in the bank, you're going to be okay. I wouldn't invest right now if that's all the money you had. But if you have your 6 months in the bank, you still, because many people still do have their jobs. Well, fuck, you got some disposable cash right now. The money that, what we tell people is the money that you would have gone out to dinner with your wife and kids, you would have gone to breakfast with, you would have maybe gone to Disney World with. Well, that's the money you might want to think about taking advantage of these buying opportunities right now. Not money you need to live. It's the entertainment money. And look at it like that.
Yeah, I mean, even like my brother, he's a head chef at a restaurant. He's out of work for 6 weeks. Like because they are keeping like mainly the other chefs and then everybody else, because it's all takeout. And so it's like he finally is now like, yo, I'm so happy we live in this duplex. I'm so happy we live below our means because I'm not freaking out. You know, he's taking not only the money, but the opportunity cost. He now has 6 weeks to focus on his health, to focus on making more money, to maybe focus on a side hustle, to focus on learning, to take that time away. It's like people don't think well when their back's against the wall. Some people do. I'm one of those people where like I enjoy okay, this is my time to get going. But most people aren't like that. You need room. You need a buffer. And like you were saying, 6 months is a very good time because the truth is you don't know if you're going to get in a car accident. You don't know if you're going to break your legs, if something's going to happen. Like, it's alarming that I think something like 75% of the American population would have to do something different if a $400 bill out of nowhere came their way. Yeah. And that's what's crazy. And that's my mission. You know, like, I understand your mission. I've been following you for a very long time, Mike. And I like that your mission is also kind of the same thing with health and fitness, but also money. Because your financial psychology, you know, stress, like cortisol, it's so bad for your body. And the more financial stress that you have, the harder it's going to be to lose weight, the harder it's going to be to build a business, the harder it's going to be a good husband, a good wife, a good father. And it's like we lose so much of this aspect when we don't focus on, like, I know people who don't even look at their bills every month. And it's not because they don't know, it's they don't want to know. They don't want to know how much interest that they have. They don't want to know, you know, how much do I owe on my student loans? And so, you know, not even from an investing standpoint, get that together. Because even though it might, you know, suck right now, you'll eventually pay that back. You'll eventually know, and it gives you peace of mind to just be a better human being. You know, there's enough stress in the world right now. So
that's it. And this is something that we can control. And you're right, which is why, you know, a lot of people like Dolce, stay in your lane, like, you know, talk about getting shredded. Like, they don't understand what we talk about. It's a very holistic approach to health, lifelong health. If your finances are a mess, your relationships are going to be a mess. Your ability to eat the right food at the right time, even to digest the food, because your microbiome is going to be so disrupted because you're dealing with this high stress, high anxiety. You're not going to sleep very well. You're going to be, you know, jitters all the time. You're not going to train properly in the gym. You're not going to be hitting PRs. Like, this thing consistently goes in a circle. Get your money right. Like, and the people who can eat well, they can control, the quote, if you can control what you eat, you can control every other aspect of your life. Same thing goes with money. If I can follow a structured eating program, I can follow a structured financial program. Problem is, most people don't know what a structured eating program looks like because there's so much bullshit out in the world. There's the ketos, there's the carnivores, there's the vegans, there's the macrofitters, there's the paleo, there's the fasting. All this stuff by all these good-looking famous people, they you know, chirp that stuff out there. Same thing with finances. Oh, let's refi your loan and get a balloon mortgage, or, you know, you got to get 1, 2, 3 credit cards or secured credit cards. You got to build up your credit in that whole trap. You know, you're talking to a guy with a 0 credit score. I have no credit. I don't even show up on it. I haven't used credit, leases, loans, mortgages, anything like that in decades now. Everything I do is cash. Well, that's impossible. I said, dude, come to my beach house. Let me show you what's impossible. I got fucking more cars in my driveway than licensed drivers at my house. And I don't say that to brag in any way. I say it because this is a kid who grew up fucking in poverty, broke as a joke. And I didn't do what everybody else said I should be, because all those motherfuckers are broke right now. They're all the ones that are stressed out, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul, like keeping up with the Joneses, all those cliches. It's the simple. And I say we have the Warren Buffett strategy of health and fitness. There's nothing fancy. There's nothing brand new. I'm not trying to trick you, and it's not the new shiny object like all these other investment strategies have. It's the basics consistently over time. That's what works. So I love, and that's kind of why I do relate very much to the Buffett philosophy, because it suits my own moral code. So, you know, there's these unifying principles, I believe, across every sector. There's very basic unifying principles. I see exactly what Buffett does and exactly what we've been trying to do with nutrition, but it's not, the nutrition shit's not mine. We just see what has worked for all of human history. With all people, for all history, for all time, we're like, oh, those are the principles. Let me now use my voice to share those. And that's kind of where the money starts to fit in. Because I realize, like, man, these people are so broke. Why are they, like, broke people can't get fit, can't stay fit, won't be happy, won't have good long-standing relationships, can't take care of your family, can't take care of your kids, can't get the education that you need, the quality health care, eat the good food to stay fit, stay healthy, stay away from the doctor. If you're broke, that shit's not going to happen. So you've got to get your money in check while you're getting your fitness in check. And if you're doing it all at the same time, your life improves exponentially. You know, use the compounding interest. A little segue right there.
Yeah, it's all discipline. Everything in life, finances, you know, being the best human being you can, like, being healthy. I posted a thing 2 days ago, and it said, and I pissed a lot of people off, but it's whatever. It said, if you don't come out of this quarantine like healthier, with a side hustle, or like with more knowledge, something that you're not, it's not that you lack time, you lack discipline. And it's true. Because
that's awesome, brother.
The next 30 days is going to dictate a lot about yourself to you. Because, I mean, I grew up poor. I grew up, like, my family, they had split up. The house got foreclosed on. They filed for bankruptcy twice. And when you're that young, you either go one of two ways. You follow them, or you go the opposite way. And, like, I was always not confident growing up. And I realized, like, well, what is confidence, you know? Confidence comes from discipline, and it comes from doing the things that you say to yourself. You know, and it's like, for a lot of people, they don't do that. They say, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to lose X amount of pounds, and then they don't. And even though they don't tell somebody that, they know it. Like, they know, like, I'm not that person. I'm not the person who tells people, like, who does what I say I'm going to do. And that's why it's really weird. But one of the things that helped me was for myself, but to publicize myself. Because when you publicize yourself, people are watching. Whether they hit you up in 20 days and say, Pete, yo, you didn't lose the weight, like, they know. Like, your respect for yourself is obviously very important. But for some people, it's putting it out there for themselves. And it's all discipline, everything. I love, you probably know Jocko Willink, but like Jocko, and like, it's just all about discipline. Every single aspect of your life. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like the style of investing because they come to me like, dude, I got $500. How can I make $2,000 in a week? Can't.
You better start slaying that rock, son.
Yeah, but it's like you can't. And it's like, oh, you know, like, how do you lose weight? Even if you just don't look at, like your principles are obviously phenomenal. You burn more calories than you take in, right? How do you save money and invest? Well, you spend less money than you bring in, and then you put that away. Yep. And people are like, what? Like, what? Like, they can't understand. Like, it's that basic. But it's just that we see, the first thing I did, and I'll tell you, because I've been there. The first big chunk of money I got, I bought a BMW. Okay. I drove home. I showed my girlfriend. I was like, yo, look, I have a BMW. She's like, you're a fucking idiot. And I, like, looked out the window, and I was like, I'm an idiot. And I sold the car for, like, a $2,000 loss the next day. But that was a lesson, obviously. But it's like, even I was like, dude, I thought I was better than that. You know, and that's when you realize, like, no, it's a constant battle of fighting against all of the stuff that you think you need and this life that you think you need, and realizing, like, it's just discipline and time.
Yep.
Time is everything. You know what I mean? But it's what's going to grow your money. It's what's going to grow you as a human being. It's how you're going to lose weight. It's how you're going to be healthy. You do the right things every single day, even the micro things, and you'll get what you want. It's pretty enlightening and cool, but a lot of people are like, well, I don't have 20 years to make money. I got bills to pay.
And with that, I spoke with a few younger guys recently, and we had very similar conversation. I said, well, how old are your parents? Parents are 20 years older than they are right now. How old are your grandparents? 40 years older than they are right now. Great. Let's put that in the calculator. Like whatever number it might be, 20 years from now, that $500 a month is worth $1 million. 40 years from now, that $500 a month is worth $6 million. Compounding interest with consistent drip, investment into that. And they're like, holy shit. I said, now, how different would your parents' lives be if they had an extra $1 million cash in their bank account right now? Everything would be different.
Crazy. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like your grandparents, most of us, your grandparents still rolling around right now. Like 60, 70, 80 years old is not that old anymore. In 2020, it's not that weird to hear of an 80-year-old walking around, 90-year-olds walking around, 70-year-olds, for sure. 70-year-olds look like 50-year-olds in many ways right now. So you think you as a 30-year-old man, 40 years from now, you're only going to be 70. Life expectancy is likely going to be much higher into the,
I'll be 120. That's my goal. I heard you say that in the original Dolces, and I always tell people like, oh no, I'll be 100. When you did the podcast, I'm like, I'll be 120. They're like, right. I'm like, watch it.
The science is, as long as we don't fuck it up really between like our 30s and 50s, if you don't fuck up your health during that period of time, there's medical science is there to keep you healthy well past 80, 90, over that 100 mark. Like kids being born right now, there's no reason why they shouldn't live to 120 or farther with very high levels of utility if they don't fuck it up through lifestyle-related disease along the way, lifestyle choices, right? But understanding, like, fuck, if that were the case, if you got kids right now and you start investing for them right now, if you can, if you can set up some sort of earned income for them at a young age where they can actually file a tax return and that you can throw $5,500 into a bank account for them and then they don't touch it for 60 years, they're millionaires, immediate millionaires. No, don't fucking tell them. Don't tell them till like they're 40.
Cash it out.
Right? Don't tell them and don't say anything about that until you know their financial custodianship. But understanding compounding interest, delaying gratification. I always go back, Richest Man in Babylon. We run these nutrition conferences. The Richest Man in Babylon is part of our curriculum. People are like, why? It has nothing to do with fitness. It has everything to do with fitness. 10% of all you earn is yours to keep. You take that 10%, you invest that 10% for older you. So young you. I'm happy to work still. I love to work and grind and make money and do all that stuff. But older me, probably doesn't want to. And one of these days, I don't want to work anymore. And I need all that 10% from all those years and decades prior to be waiting for me, having earned income, 10% income, hopefully, the entire time. So then work becomes a choice, right? It doesn't become.
When you do your best work, too, is when it's a choice.
Absolutely.
I work harder now than when I ever had a job. And because it's your choice, And it's nuts too, because not that $2.5 million is not a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But $2.5 million with a 4% return, even just on a dividend. Say you got SPY, I think it's 3.23. So you can get a 4% dividend return on $2.5 million. It's $100,000 a year.
Yep.
You can live off of that. Like, and money goes by fast. I watched my grandmother and her step-husband was very rich, right? They didn't have kids who wanted to take care of them. I was really too far away to be there. They'd go to an old folks home. They had about $7.5 million. That goes quick. They were in there for 6 or 7 years, and that goes by very fast. And I don't think about that right now when I'm running around, I'm lifting, I'm doing everything I'm doing. But, or even your parents, right? If I'm 30, my dad's 60. He don't have anything. Love the guy to death, but he didn't make the proper choices when he was younger. Who's going to take care of him? And if he can stay around, obviously, until he's 80, 85, I'm 50, compounding interest, playing aggressively, putting a lot of the money that I have away, I could take care of him in 20 years. And it's weird because not a lot of people think about it, but a lot of people don't want to think about their parents dying or their parents getting sick or them getting sick and dying. People don't want to deal with that. So.
Yeah. You know, that's true. You have a lot of wisdom for a young man at,
Thank
only
you.
30. And I say that respect because obviously you're a grown-ass adult. You've probably been an adult for a much longer period of time than most of your peers. So I get that. I see that through a lot of the wisdom that you have and, just a lot of your philosophies. I really do appreciate it. I love your channel. I love your page.
Thank
I
you.
love all your content. I'm always on there. I strongly suggest all my people should check you out. Peter DiCarlo, DiCarlo. Check you out. And let's do this a little bit more often, brother. Let's get you on the podcast here, so we can certainly do like a better, longer form and get down and dirty and more of your background.
This is a dream come true, man. In 2014, my life was in the gutter. I literally had nothing, and I started watching YouTube, and I came across you. I came across Aubrey Marcus. I came across Joe Rogan, all those guys. And literally, it's weird. I talk a lot about mentorship, but you guys are mentors to me without even knowing that you're a mentor. And so it's awesome that like you can reach so many people, and even you, Mike, can shape somebody like myself to be who I am. It's really sick.
Well, brother, it is, man. That is such an honor and a privilege. So thank you for that. Yep. And that's not lost on me at all. And every time I turn on this camera or the microphone or anything I do it knowing that what I say is it's going to matter to someone at some time. And hopefully this information gets to someone in some way that they can receive it and understand it. And it just helps benefit their life, which is why I'm so dedicated to just being honest. Be honest, be transparent, tell the truth. Like let everyone see me exactly. This is what it is. I don't pretend to wear a fucking lab coat and be some tight ass, pencil neck fucking nutrition science guy. That's not me. I curse, I tell stupid jokes, right? But that's true. But we also put the fucking work in. We get the work fucking done. We perform fucking better than everyone else. Our results are at the fucking world-class level, and we live good lives. We take care of people. That's so fucking rare out there. So having that type of transparent interaction, like I love Rogan, I love Aubrey, I love, Jocko, like all those dudes in that fucking crew, like they're all alphas, man. Like you're an alpha, like we're all fucking alphas in the best possible term, meaning that we put all the responsibility on our fucking back. We don't make excuses. We fuck up, we fall down, and we just keep fucking marching forward. And then try to do so with a little bit of a smile on our face. To enjoy it, enjoy the moment, enjoy the growth. So whatever I can do to help share a little bit of this, to kind of turn our audience onto you, to follow you a little bit, man, which was fucking awesome, man. Let's just keep it. Everybody here, everybody listening, we're all in it together, right? We're all in this together. We're all in that fucking march together. I can't drag anybody along, but I can certainly fucking shout on over and fucking cheer you on or, chastise you a little bit when you fucking need it, because we all need a little bit of that too, right?
Yep, I agree. It's you just never know who you're talking to. Like even when I started, like I have a channel, I have 1,000 subs, but even when I was when I had 5, you don't know who you're talking to. Even like you could bump into somebody at the grocery store and be an asshole, and that guy might be on the edge, might be on the verge, and he might go do something terrible. Or you might just look at him in the eyes like a human and be like, hey, what's up, man? Sorry, like let me hold the door for you. And like that one little thing, it's the weirdest things that change people's lives for the good and for the bad. So you always have to act accordingly, always be yourself, always be a role model, even if you don't think anybody's watching.
Brother, I love it, man. Well, Pete, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you pulled the car over to get on and chat, which is awesome, man. I appreciate you. What's that?
I was going to get groceries. Got my hand sanitizer, my gloves. I watched the video. I'm ready.
Good. It was funny when I first put that video out. People were like, "Oh, Dolce, you're taking it too far. You're totally over the top." Well, oh yeah, motherfuckers. 3 weeks later, that video now seems like I'm fucking Dr. Fauci over here. Fucking consider what's going on. So no one will ever yell at you for being too clean or too hygienic. Is what I say.
Not at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, brother, be safe out there. Best
to
you, and we'll be in touch soon, my man.
Of course, man. Take care. Be safe. Have a good night.